Hey y'all, welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Colton here with Brandon. Got a few updates to get to today, so let's jump right in. First things first, we will have a new English conference stream from Bushiroad later this week. Wednesday night for the West Coast, early Thursday morning for the East Coast, also Thursday morning in Europe. We expect more announcements for English during this stream. And realistically, based on the hints that they've dropped, we expect them just to announce what we already know, which is Data Live 2 and Kaguya 2.
Those two were especially a very big assumption that we were going to be getting those at some point. It was less if as much as it was when. So we've seen the two hints so far, hints being love and date. Both of those seem to very well point to those two sets.
Hey y'all, Future Colton here, interrupting to add an additional note. While we were in the process of editing this episode, the English Weiss Twitter account tweeted some hints that pretty strongly indicate that Avatar: The Last Airbender could be announced during the stream. The hint they tweeted was everything's about to change with like the down arrow, which is, presumably a reference to how everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked, and the arrow thing on the main character's head. I don't know. I'm not an Atla fan. Don't at me. The point is, those hints have strongly indicated the very real possibility that we're getting Avatar: The Last Airbender in English Weiss as an English exclusive, which would be massive. I do not want to understate the importance of this. Brandon and I have talked about this in the past, how Avatar would literally be the best possible addition to English Weiss in terms of expanding the player base. It would be good for the same reasons that Ruby and Hololive were excellent additions to English Weiss. One, they are popular properties with massive fan bases. Two, they're very in line with the current aesthetic of Weiss. Perhaps not anime specifically, but anime adjacent. The fan bases overlap pretty strongly, and they carry similar themes and visuals. So it adheres really nicely to the established feel of a Weiss set, while also being something that is pretty popular in the mainstream and can appeal to both potential new players and current players. There are plenty of people I know, and I'm sure that for many of you this is also the case, who are either not Weiss players or are very nominal Weiss players who would very likely pick up an Avatar set. This is a massive get for Bushiroad if this is in fact what it is. It is not confirmed by any stretch of the imagination, but the hints are pretty strong. It seems pretty likely. We are going to find out with the rest of you. However, for the rest of this conversation, that's not something that we knew was a potential thing. So just keep that in mind for the rest of this episode. Thank you. Sending it back to what we recorded before. And there's been some speculation in regards to Sunshine maybe getting some more support, but they've been using the Sunshine on My Mind tagline in all of their promotional stuff for this stream, not just the Weiss stuff. So that seems to be more of a reference to it being the summer conference stream. Don't expect more Love Live Sunshine support, despite like what's kind of been floating around a little bit.
The tease.
Oh yeah, no, they're horrible. This is very rude to Sunshine players, what they're doing.
Some of the things we'd like to see in that stream as well would be some of the updates to Shop Challenge, like some dates and times of when those would be going on.
Yeah, we do have more prize support information. They'll be giving away Tokyo Revengers promos to everyone who shows up. And they will be giving away buy cards to winners, presumably one per shop. It seems like Shop Challenge is going to be a one-off event at individual shops like it has been in the past, and not a league structure like we saw during the height of the pandemic. Obviously, no official announcements yet. We will get to more of that probably during the stream later this week. But as it stands, it seems like each shop is probably only going to get one of these buy cards, and it will be given to the winner of the event. And you can turn those cards in for basically free wins at the regional tournaments. So if you are at a 7-round tournament, you can turn it in for 2 free wins, essentially. So you get to start 2-0, and you don't have to play until round 3. At a 6-round or smaller regional, you get your first round win for free. So that's basically all we know about Shop Challenge. Like you were saying, Brandon, we don't have a schedule yet. Hopefully we get that later this week, or at least something that looks like a schedule, so that we have some dates for both Shop Challenge and regional events, so we can start to make those plans. One would assume that our first regional events would be in September, but again, we don't have anything on that yet. What we do know, however, is that for any events that take place in September or before, Hololight Premium will not be allowed. Bushiroad has made an adjustment. The Hololight Premium cards that were soft launched at Anime Expo earlier this month were originally expected to be legal for play immediately. They are not. You cannot play Hololight Premium cards at Rumble or at any BCS event before the 2-week window after its formal global release happens. So September 30th is the release date for Hololight Premium. That is the day that it comes out to the public. For 2 weeks after that, it is not legal for play. So those tech cards that are being printed in Premium, and some players already have, will not be legal for play in either Rumble, which takes place in August, or any BCS or Shop Challenge level events that happen before those 2 weeks after the September 30th release date.
So that means for Rumble Online, no Quintuplets 2, because that only comes out a week before the scheduled event. So going into that tournament without Quintuplets, it's expected to be a major player, especially coming into the fall season. Should be really interesting to see what Rumble looks like. And it perhaps not as helpful look as to what the following meta might look like. So just something to keep in mind as we're looking at that.
So that's kind of everything we have in regards to upcoming competitive events. In English, let's look quickly at the JP side as we wrap things up. Weiss Schwarz Blau, the release event took place a few days ago, and they showed us more of what the game looks like. Basically, it's a simplified version of Weiss with simplified mechanics. It's going to follow the same general rules, it appears, but will have simpler mechanics. And in addition to being a completely separate game from Weiss, as they had already announced, it will also, it looks like, be more idle and band focused. So not as much of an anime angle as much as a recording artist angle specifically. At least that's based on what we're seeing, with additional Disney sets as well, although they seem to be a little bit more in like the traditional Disney vein.
We're seeing Disney princesses such as Frozen, Rapunzel, Little Mermaid. Characters designed for a typically different audience than we would normally see with Weiss Schwarz. Which is, I think, really interesting that they're expanding that out further, trying to include more people into the game. Notably that these are not playable with your regular Weiss Schwarz. So even if you do buy into the Pixar kind of stuff, that Pixar and Disney are kind of in that same vein, but they're not in the same vein here with Weiss Schwarz.
Yeah, I can't believe that we have to say you can't play Rapunzel with Lightning McQueen, but you can't play Rapunzel with Lightning McQueen. Different card backs, completely different games, in addition to being different sets as well. So definitely a different look for Weiss. In addition to those idle and band kind of sets, we are seeing literal Disney princesses showing up in this game. So I guess they're trying to appeal to a different demographic. That seems to be the play here.
I mean, we got card art for Mickey and Minnie Mouse, so like going all in on the Disney route.
And again, as with the other Disney stuff, we expect none of this in English. As of right now, there is no reason to anticipate the release of Weiss Schwarz Blau in English. None of the Japanese properties have massive cultural footprints in the English-speaking world, with the exception of the Disney stuff, which is never going to get licensed in English. It's either stuff that is too niche to succeed over here, or stuff that will never see in English printing because of licensing. So, as of right now, no reason to expect Blue in English. As much as Weiss has been growing in English in recent years, I don't think it's big enough in English to support something like this.
Probably not in this current state. So yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. If that eventually makes its way over into English, we're definitely going to see some differences before it gets there. So it's kind of something just to keep on the back burner as we continue on. We're not really going to cover this too much until we see if a substantial change that could make its way towards English.
And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back on Thursday. We're going to wrap up 5 cards, 5 minutes for Tokyo Revengers. Brandon will have a deck tech next week, followed by gameplay on Thursday. And in 2 weeks, another Clock Talk. We'll talk about the stuff that gets announced at the stream. Hopefully, we'll have something in regards to Rumble and BCS. But until next time, thank you so much for joining us. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And have a good one.
We'll see you then.